Paul, I think it's so interesting when you think of all the different issues facing the league. But for you as a player, right, when you were in the middle of all of this and seeing the sport that you could set your life by a metronome, right?
Yeah.
You knew when training camp started. You knew what would happen in your day every day. And all of that has fallen apart. What has that been like?
I mean, I can't imagine how the NBA players feel, because right now you're in the middle of a routine that you set every single day. You wake up, whether you have to take your kids to school, you go to practice, the meals you eat, the way you go to the arena or to practice, it's like all out the window now. So now you're like, if it's me and I'm in the league right now, I'm kind of at a loss. But at the same time, I'm like, this is serious, because you don't just cancel NBA, MLB, and all these sports leagues if it's not serious. And so I'm going to be honest with you, because before the NBA canceled, it was just like, I took it with a grain of salt. It was like, okay, the coronavirus, it's serious, but not that bad. But when the NBA was like, you know what, we're going to cancel this season, that's when I took a step back and I was like, oh, this is for real. And I stopped going to public places, and you started seeing restaurants shut down, and public gatherings started to become less and less. And the NBA, in everybody's eyes, I think, kind of sets the bar of what's going on around the world. And because, like I said, when I saw the NBA shut down, I shut down.
Yeah.
True. Like Paul said, as players, we're creatures of routine and habit. And especially heading into the playoffs right now, post-All-Star is the best time of the season for the NBA players. So guys are at a loss, and you feel for older guys that could be their last go-around, or, you know, LeBron's chance to get the Lakers to a championship. All these different scenarios and narratives are playing out. So we obviously want to, you know, side on the side of caution. But like Paul said, obviously I took it serious having kids and being around my kids. But once the NBA shut it down, I really think, like Adam said, that was a real wake-up call for the rest of the United States. Like, this is something very serious that we have to take serious and we have to get a handle on.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that he was talking about young people, right, who maybe aren't seeing the effects in their own lives. But when the NBA gets canceled, they say, oh, wait, like you said, hey, okay, now I know this has to be different. I did think the point about older players. You guys both played in the league for more than a dozen years. And you know, in that last year or two, you are wrestling with changing what your identity is, right? I mean, it's a big transition. And obviously everybody in the country is going through a lot of big transitions. No one's more, you know, better or worse than anyone else's. But in this frame of discussion, that's a big deal.
It's huge. You know, you obviously guys that come to mind are like Vince Carter. You know, 22 years, and possibly this can be the end of his run. Who knows what's going to happen. But, you know, Vince, and like I said, again, LeBron's not a spring chicken. He's 35, 17th year. He's had an amazing season. The Lakers are the #1 team in the West, and they really have a legitimate shot to win the championship here. So there's clocks winding down on some of these guys that we are definitely going to miss, but it's still so much uncertainty. We don't know what's going to happen.
It is a good reflection, right? There's things that we are going to get disrupted, and then we'll see how they restart, the same way American society is disrupted and then going to restart at some point. And then some things will, frankly, never get back. And I think we're seeing all of that reflected through sports. It is a relatable way to talk about a big, huge, sprawling issue, and we're going to keep doing that as we go on through this show and through the rest of the coming months.